That was pretty sweet. And that is burning some nasties out of the muffler. And it's probably getting oh yeah, burning some oil and grease out of there, and it doesn't have a cylinder cover on it. So, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. This is the finally the test run for this 26 LCS. I've played hell getting spark in this thing. Wasn't the coil, although I was really starting to fear that it was. I put a new condenser in it and I still couldn't get spark. And I really, like I say, coils aren't out there for these things hardly at all. There is a few that are a direct match part number on eBay for over 150 a piece, so I wanted to be damn certain. So I really took a deep dive into all of this, and I realized that the breaker points were not closing properly. I might have already pitched them, but the shape of them is very important. If that strap gets bent at all, they will not close properly. So thankfully, well, here, a spare set. I can show you exactly what I mean. So this shape right there, the ones I had, somebody had been rough with them and bent them. As soon as it gets out of shape, next to impossible to get it back into shape. So anyhow, once I got that taken care of, I was able to fish a new, well, just took the whole, the way these things are set up, it's kind of nice. With the flywheel off, you've got your coil and condenser and points that are under the flywheel. But then the ignition backplate is actually not part of the engine. You just pull one more screw and off it comes, so it's real easy to put a new spark plug wire on one of these things. It's the old style coil where you just strip some insulation off and, do a twist. You probably ought to do a little solder on it. I didn't, but you fish it through the little eye on the coil, do a nice little tight wrap, and away you go. So she's back together, and as you can hear, it's running. Now I'm realizing this, I never tensioned this chain. That's way too tight, so I'm going to fix that. And I don't, did I save the business card? I meant to, and then life happened. Out on eBay, there's a gentleman doing reproductions of a bunch of stuff for these. That cap right there is a reproduction, and as you can see, these damn starter balls. I hate that. First time it's done that to me, but it figures that it would do it on video. There we go. You can see, doesn't interfere with the starter. The cable is a reproduction. The handle is a reproduction. I had an original insert. He's got those. The fuel hoses, he's got those. All at what I consider to be extremely reasonable prices for reproduction parts. Because let's remember, this saw is essentially 70 years old, 1952 or 53. And you can buy parts for it. And it still runs. Try that one on for size. Just think about that, 70 years old and it's still running. And as you can hear, it sounds pretty good. Governor's working. These are an extremely low RPM saw. That's what they're designed for. I think I measured this at 9/16 chain. In fact, I know I did. So that's an oddball in itself. Not a lot of teeth left, but enough that I can put an edge on it and cut with this thing one of these days. So I replaced the hoses, checked the fuel pickup. 70-year-old rubber hose is still flexible, not cracked. And the filter, still good. This is incredible stuff, guys. It is. It's incredible. Carburetor's a float type. That's why you guys saw me do this. So the way these were designed, they did not have a fuel pump carburetor on these things yet. So if you wanted to make a felling cut, the whole carburetor rotates independently of the saw. So you'd make your felling cut, and then when you were ready to go upright again and buck, rotate it back. Now I wouldn't be at all shocked if those O-rings in there are a little worn, because I was getting a little bit of an inconsistent idle. I don't care, to be honest. As long as it runs, I'm actually quite fine with it. God, I was babbling and I forgot something. What the hell was I going to say? Oh, the carburetor. That Tillotson, it's an MD something or other, didn't need rebuilt. So this thing wasn't stored with a bunch of crummy gas in it, and there's not a bunch of corrosion in the tank. In fact, looking from the top, it looks very, very clean. I hadn't loaded this with oil yet, but there's still something in there, and it just pumped out. I just lubed the bar with my oil can to do that test run. So anyway, in case you hadn't noticed with my incessant babbling here, I'm pretty excited and stoked to have this thing running. The only problem I've found so far is this fuel valve, I think, is leaking ever so, and well, I know it is, because I'm getting a bit of a puddle of fuel under here. So I'll probably attempt to replace the O-ring that's in there, because I don't really want it sitting there perking fuel out. But that is the only real problem I know of right now, other than missing this cylinder cover. I don't want to go out and try cutting, unless it was a pretty cool day, without having that cylinder cover on there, because I sure don't want to roach piston and cylinder in this thing. So thus far I've had very little success. Well, zero success, because I don't have one. So if anybody's got a bone pile out there of 26 LCSs, or you know of a cylinder cover that'll fit, please do let me know, because I would love to complete this saw and take it out and do a video of it cutting on the firewood hill. But until then, got a really good shape 26 LCS that I am really happy to add to the collection.